Hey, good evening, everybody. We're still letting people in. People are joining us as we get rolling here. Um, as always, we want to reach out and say thank you to our ASL interpreters. They're an important part of our program every week and do a great service for us. Tonight, we've got Bobby Roy with us. He's our Unit 21 chair. And that is, I'll let him introduce himself in a moment and expand, but basically that's the librarians and what are the instructional, what's the other, the archivists and what's the other part of the group, Bobby? And I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, we are archivists and librarians.
Oh, archivists and librarians, okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead and do your introduction and let's get rolling.
Oh, great. Well, so good evening, everyone. And I just want to see if any of you know anyone that has ever received or is currently receiving a public school education. Maybe they're a child in a daycare program, a mainstream classroom, a special education student, a student in a gifted and talented education or honors program, or maybe they're a homeless student or a student in the foster system. And maybe they're seeking their nursing license or an advanced degree. Well, my name is Bobby Roy, and my colleagues throughout California are Unit 21 education consultants and librarians, influence the attitudes, guide behaviors, and create conditions so that the millions of students in California's pre-K through higher education classrooms obtain a meaningful and relevant education. And our work is grounded in the belief that, as enshrined in the California Constitution, all K through 12 students deserve a free and equitable education, no matter their family's income level or background. Our work is also grounded in the belief that everyone deserves a high quality education. Our work is grounded in the belief that every parent and caring adult wants the next generation to have a better life than the previous one. And our work is grounded in the belief that California, the nation, and the world benefits from a well-educated society. Our work means that the students you thought of and all of California can learn, work, and thrive. And our work is important because while students are just a fraction of our population, they're 100% of our future. So I want to talk about Unit 21, of which I am a very proud person to be a part of Unit 21. Myself, I started in the state as a Unit 4 member, and then I got promoted to become an analyst, to become Unit 1, and then got promoted again to become an education programs consultant, Unit 21. So in my 26 years now with the state, actually 16 years, I'm sorry, lots of experience and really a strong understanding of like what it means to have solidarity for one another. And I think that that's really important. For Unit 21, right? Like I moved from the largest bargaining unit or the second largest bargaining unit, Unit 4, to the largest one, Unit 1, to Unit 21, which is only the second smallest actually in SAU Local 1000. But we represent the educators, the education consultants, the librarians, the archivists, that really provide the knowledge for California and Californians and help to facilitate that knowledge transfer and the education of every member of our society. So we're very proud of that. We have a unique structure because we are so small. We don't have, I guess, represented employees in every department. And in some places and in some district labor councils or DLCs, we have just a handful of represented employees that are Unit 21. In those DLCs, we really need more people to step up and become stewards because our SBAC, where we would normally have 23 people, we actually have 19 vacancies at the moment. And we have 4 people in our SBAC. On our bargaining team, we have 1 vacancy because normally on our bargaining team, we would have 5 people, and right now we have 4. Now, this will be my third round of bargaining. I've served on the bargaining team twice before, and the most we've ever had has been 4. And we've never had a full bargaining team in the last 2016 was when I joined the team. So in the last 6-7 years that I've been on the bargaining team, we haven't had a full bargaining team. So if you or someone you know is Unit 21, let them know that we really need them to be engaged, to become a steward, to step up to become their DLC DBER, and potentially join the bargaining team. And that's the best way to really get a feel for how negotiations work, and how we work to strengthen our contract as well as defend the contract, and enforce our contract. And on the Unit 21 bargaining team, we not only look for obviously what's unique language to us, but we're looking at master table language as well that affects everybody. And so you get a very strong understanding, and it builds your leadership, and it builds your growth, and really you really can have a hand in shaping the future for the union.
Well, that's quite the introduction and plug there, Bobby. So to sum that up, you can offer a lot of opportunity for learning, growth, and being able to express yourself.
Absolutely. There's plenty of opportunity in Unit 21. We're just
Nice.
looking for the people that want to stick their head up and take that leadership mantle.
Nice. I don't see any hands yet, so maybe we'll see some hands go up in the next couple of moments. I'm sure there's got to be somebody out there who's got a question. Otherwise, you and I are going to have a long night. So we got one hand up. So let's go over here. Margaret, can you unmute and join us?
Hi, Bill and Bobby and Candy and everyone who's here. I'm a Unit 3 librarian, and what Bobby said about in DLCs having just a couple librarians in some DLCs, that's what we experience too. We're the Unit 3 CDCR teachers and librarians, and in a DLC, maybe we have 5 institutions with 40 teachers at each, so that would be 200 teachers, and at most 8 librarians or 10 librarians. So what you said just resonated with me, that within the DLC there's so few librarians, and we have trouble even getting onto the bargaining team because we have so many teachers in our unit. So just from one librarian. Bobby, are you a librarian or an archivist or a teacher consultant or?
I'm an educations consultant, but
Education
definitely work with a lot of librarians that are in our, that are in our bargaining unit. And like even the Unit 3, I actually had a colleague that joined me at the California Department of Education, and she used to be a librarian at a correctional facility. And she told me a lot about it too. So we take that knowledge and try to represent everybody when we're at the bargaining table. So Margaret, if you have any feedback, of course, contact Unit 3, but feel free to contact me too, and I'll do my best to bring your concerns to the table.
Thank you. So I think the Unit 21 librarians work mainly at the state library and state agencies, and the Unit 3 librarians work in CDCR, basically.
That's correct. Yeah. What I like to say for our education consultants, our archivists and librarians, we're the non-institutional employees. So none of us are at the correctional facilities. We're at the different departments. So I know like Calvet has a librarian, Secretary of State I believe has a librarian, and a couple, again, onesies and twosies throughout the state. But thank you for calling.
Thank you. It's nice meeting you.
Well, thank you, Margaret. We don't have any other hands at the moment, so I had one up, but they disappeared. So,
well, if I could, Bill,
yeah.
So a couple of people did like email me in advance because like there was an announcement that I would be on, and
Right.
a lot of questions that were emailed to me were around the subject of like, what's the state or what's the union going to do about this or that? And one was about our pay raises relative to the increase in costs for what we have to buy and pay for. Another one was like, what are we going to do about telework and things like that? And in general, the way that I like, what I have to tell everyone is that we are still in the information gathering stage of what the priorities will be at bargaining. So contact us and let us know like what you want those priorities to be. We don't know what we're going to do yet because we don't know, we have an idea, but we haven't finalized as a bargaining team, what we're going to do, like what our strategy is going to be. The other side of that is we would never talk about our strategy on an open call like this, that everyone can see and watch. And so, just kind of stay tuned for different town halls, the bargaining survey, things like that. I know in Unit 21, we hope to, of course, participate in the larger bargaining survey, but we also hope to put out a Unit 21 bargaining survey so that Unit 21 folks can talk to the specific aspects of the contract that only affect Unit 21 members.
Yeah, and across the whole union over the next several months, we're going to be engaging and offering people opportunities to share with us, talk to us, tell us their concerns. We're going to be reaching out and having conversations around membership, union power, union density. What does winning a contract look like? And I keep telling people, watch what we're doing, not just the words, right? Words are easy, but watch what we're doing, and let us know if we're getting it right or not as we move forward and do Local 1000 and our next contract differently than we've done in the past, right?
Yep.
Let's go up here. We have a couple of hands up. Let's go over here to Yolanda.
Yeah,
Hi, welcome.
well, it's not really welcome because, I'm not really for this, but I'm a paying member, so I'm gonna say something and I'd like you to answer it. I have a couple questions, and since you let a lot of people, I've seen your straight talking, you let them talk a long time. So let me get to it. My question is, are the members' dues paying for this legal issue that's going on with our duly elected president? Don't try to get off the subject, sir. I want you to answer it. I'm sure all the members want to know, because I definitely want to know. How is that being paid? Is it from our dues or not?
So the board authorized payment to Chris Kassenbach for my actions as a board member to date, currently for a total of $42,000.
So so the board members, the elected board members, those ones that are doing things behind the scenes and not letting the members know, are voting, using our money to pay to keep Mr. Richard Lewis Brown, who's our duly elected president, out of his seat. That's what you're saying? Yes or no?
Well, that's not a yes or no question.
It is a yes or no.
That would be a no, Yolanda.
I'm not asking you, whoever you are. I'm asking him. He's supposed to be the chairperson. He's supposed to know and how to answer the question.
Well, as a board member, I respectfully let you know that would be a no.
But he just.
So, Yolanda,
Wait a second, Bill.
Yolanda, hang on. I'm actually trying to have a conversation with you, but you've got to let me speak a little bit here. The first thing that I was going to say was that was Bobby Roy, who is our guest for the evening. You are actually off topic.
I can care less if I'm off topic. People want to know. People want to know. Members want to know. They ask this question.
You want to know.
Excuse me,
But,
I'm a
but,
member, so you're right. I do want to know. That's why I asked, but other people want to
and,
know as well.
okay, so look, I'm really not here to be argumentative with you tonight.
I'm not. I'm just speaking my piece. You just don't like
Well,
it.
you sound argumentative to me,
That's
so
fine.
that's my, that's my take on it. So
Okay.
what else did you want to know tonight?
Um, is it true that I don't know how I'm going to work this. Something huge as changing the policy file and the bylaws which govern the union, those type of things need to go through the members. Is that correct?
That,
That
that's,
is correct.
that's actually incorrect.
That's
And
incorrect.
and the board has done it in the past.
So what's going on really is most of the board who basically don't like Richard has said okay to all these changes, such as putting you the chair and all of this, so you guys can continue to illegally take over this union.
Well, you know what? I think we're gonna, if you're gonna continue to make statements like that, I don't see that we should
It,
continue this at the moment.
it's
What
not a
I'm gonna,
statement, it's a question. You asked me if
that, that
I had
was,
any more questions and you don't want to answer it.
no, that was not a question. You made a statement about the
I'm asking,
board.
yeah,
You
I'm
made,
asking if the board does that.
again, if you're not gonna let me speak, we can't continue.
You don't,
Okay?
go
No,
ahead and speak.
look, I was trying to answer your question and you're talking over me.
Go ahead and
So,
speak.
so the board of directors has a responsibility to the membership. The board of directors was completely locked out of governance by President suspended Brown, and the board took action, and that's within the board's purview, and it's the board's responsibility. And over a little bit of time here, as Richard works through his due process, um, I think this will work itself out.
Richard didn't take over Richard didn't take over anything.
Okay, well, that's your
That
opinion. That's your opinion.
you need to be honest
Um,
with the members and stop.
I,
You need to be honest, and you're not. And that's why all the stuff you guys are
well,
doing is a
that,
closed session, because members are not being able to see what's going on, and they should be able to see and know how this money is being spent, because that's their hard-earned money. Point blank,
okay.
period.
Well, you're correct. And I think that the board acted very responsibly.
No, they
And
have not. I'm sure
uh,
you think so because you're the chair now with no experience.
um, thanks, Yolanda. I'm sorry that I had to mute you, but we're just not going to argue tonight. I'm sure there's other people who have questions they want to ask. I have other hands up. And we're going to go back over here to Margaret.
I already spoke. If somebody else would like a turn and then come back.
You can go real quick. That's fine.
Okay. Well, I heard on the radio, the legislature is signing the state budget tonight as we speak. So I hope that's true. But my question is, what the vacancy rate is among Unit 21 librarians. It's been about 30% in Unit 3 for the last 20 years or so.
That's a great question, Margaret, and I don't know those numbers just yet. I know that the bargaining unit and the bargaining team is going to do an information request pretty soon related to that. If I recall correctly, in the 2019 data, it was hovering around that amount as well for Unit 21 librarians. But I don't recall off the top of my head. I'm trying to remember what we reviewed, but we haven't pulled that information for 2022 yet.
That would be really interesting. And, maybe there's some way librarians in Unit 3 and librarians in 21 can work together somehow if we have some similar issues.
Yeah,
I think the Unit 3 librarians probably do belong in Unit 3, but we probably also share some issues and concerns with the Unit 21 librarians.
absolutely. Yeah. And like I have a great working relationship with Bob Holtz, who's the new Unit 3 chair. We're both first-time chairs for our bargaining units. But we as chairs, we meet pretty regularly. We see one another on all the notice meet and confers. And we definitely will have those conversations on where we have common interests so that we can leverage that power and that solidarity.
I appreciate that because there might be some issues where it's helpful to work together. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll try to get the vacancy rates to you. I'll follow up with you as soon as I can get those pulled, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. Hey, good evening, Luke. How are you tonight?
Hey, doing pretty good. How are you doing, Bill?
We're all right.
All right. Hey, Bobby, how you doing?
Unbelievable. How are you, Luke?
All right, pretty good, pretty good. Hey, I guess I'd like to say just a little bit, just in response to Yolanda there. I know there are a lot of people in the union who are very understandably frustrated with the fact that kind of the democracy of the union was kind of split, and that people seem to kind of take sides in what went on. But the only thing I just kind of recommend to leadership and you, Bill, is just make sure that even if it means burning bridges a little bit, the more transparent you can be about what's been going on in this whole situation, I think the better. I'm sure you probably agree with that. I think we're trying to build that back and do that as best as we can. So I definitely feel some sympathy for Yolanda and the questions that she has. And unfortunately, I think a lot of those things do kind of have to be aired out to a degree. And a lot of people feel like that just they haven't got a full resolution on that. So for whatever that's worth.
So can I respond to that for a second, Luke? Because I actually agree with you,
Mhm.
but there's also another piece to this, and that's that Richard Brown deserves a fair due process.
Mhm.
And in that process, it wouldn't be right to deliver information that may sway people's opinion of him before that process has been finished fully. And I do think the union as a whole should have more discussions going forward. And I agree with you. I can assure you that it's very challenging right now between, legal advice, expectations of members. It's a very complicated picture.
Yeah.
But part of what we're trying to do is that Richard can have a unbiased hearing and an unbiased board who's going to hear his case and make a determination as we move forward. I mean, as much as possible.
Yeah, no, well taken. I mean, just kind of paralleling our justice system. It's like everybody has to have their due process, and it's kind of a shaky situation because we're sort of in a very public venue. I mean, I guess as far as I understand, the union's kind of a corporation, so it has some privacy that it gets to use, but that's kind of getting beyond my legal knowledge because I'm not in that field, but I know I totally understand.
I take a lot of advice.
Yeah, no, I'm sure we all do. Usually you find somebody who knows that real well to help be by your side as much as possible. Yeah, no, I didn't want to take too much time, but I think I'll kind of go straight to or actually, I want to just mention to Bobby, I really appreciate the energy that you bring to the union. I'm glad that you're offering up some new opportunities for folks to get into leadership. And I even remember, I think a little while back, you sharing a little bit about your personal history, and I don't remember a whole lot about it now, but I think you had somebody maybe in your family who was engaged in I forget what your nationality is.
I'm Filipino.
Filipino. Okay. Yeah. But I got to just throw this out. I was just looking up a little bit about the Philippines, and I wasn't sure if it was the Philippines, so I wanted to check on that. But when it comes to concentration camps. Actually, the Philippine-American War, the U.S. had several of them in the Philippines throughout our history. So there's a lot of interesting history there to delve into, and that kind of leads into just the idea that I think there's so much for our members to gain from having a better labor history. I've kind of delved myself into understanding that real well, and I think I've noticed Annika has put out a couple of reading recommendations on some of her emails for people just to kind of get up to date on our labor history. And I was just reading something about the Gilded Age, I think, which was very interesting, and how labor history developed during that time due to a lot of major strikes. So, and that kind of also leads into, I think, what I think it was Ted, our librarian, said last time, just about reading in general. I think that's something that would be great to be able to bring to the union, is have some reading material, have reading groups where we can kind of discuss some of these things, because I think they're really vital to kind of helping create that solidarity among members. But leaving that aside, jumping over to something else real quick. One thing I think that I was just thinking I think would be very helpful is if we could get some sort of, I remember having this with some political campaigns, and also the short time that I was with the DSA, is something called Slack. I don't know if anyone's brought that up in the past, but it's a great tool for just kind of helping maintain communication between leadership and members. I think there's, from my kind of understanding, and I don't think this is totally the case, but there tends to be a lot of kind of communication from top down. But I just think that there's always more room for it to go bottom up. And I know we have these great venues, and I just kind of worry that people kind of engage and have ideas, but sometimes they feel like they kind of fall on deaf ears, and we want to know what things really gain traction with a decent group of people so we can kind of push forward with those ideas. So that's kind of a major thing. I think that Slack program is really a great system that we could look into, or something like that will let us all keep better communication with one another. So yeah, I guess just on that, another thing just to kind of throw in with the Slack too is just don't hold back till just like town halls and right before bargaining to be doing the survey work. I think we should kind of make that an active part of what we're doing all the time, because we have new members coming in, new represented employees coming in all the time, and we want to make sure that their voices are being heard. Not everybody's able to get the time away to participate in these events, so I want to make sure that those voices are heard as well. All right, great. Thank you, guys.
That's awesome. Thank you, Luke. Just to like piggyback on your, the Slack idea, like I use Slack in a couple other venues or groups that I'm in. It is a very powerful tool, as long as like we have to get the training on it too. I also know that like the folks that are organizing for Starbucks and Amazon right now, they have very, very strong communication channels. And even when we were evaluating our 2016 and our 2019 campaigns, the communication was something that came up a lot. And so we do want and will make that better. You can, everyone that joined on, I send out updates to Unit 21 represented employees. If you want to get my emails, like feel free to email me. I'll copy and paste that again, because I know people signed on after I posted that. And I try to do things that are, informative and useful. I do the same thing for my DLC as well, and I'm in DLC 764. So yeah, I hear you loud and clear that we want to get communication stronger and more frequent, and both two-way, like you said, not just one way from the top down. So thank you for that.
Great. Yeah, I'll just put just a last little plug in that. Yeah, it's just still kind of been quiet on the front in 701 down here in San Diego. So anything we can use from other DLCs to kind of help create more movement down here. I think I did hear something that there's some training that is going to come down that David Jimenez mentioned, I think, on last night's call. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, just keep up the good work, guys. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Luke. Have a good night.
Yes, you too.
Hi, Aileen. Can you unmute and join us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. Hi, Bobby. Thank you for being here. I didn't know what Unit 21 was. I thought it was for education.
Is that your question?
Is it for education?
So we're technically like education consultants. So I see a few that are on here. So like we look at childcare, we early education. We even have transportation consultants. So they actually help train bus driver trainers, as well as farm equipment drivers and things like that, all the way to people that work at our board of vocational nursing, our board of registered nursing, so even higher education, the board of vocational education as well. We represent archivists in our state Secretary of State, and finally our librarians that are in the state library and in other departments throughout the state. So there's about 520 of us statewide. And in some DLCs, there's only a handful of us. What DLC are you, Eileen?
I am DLC 789. I don't think we have any.
Yeah, I don't see that we have any represented members in your DLC.
Okay.
But if there are any presidents that want to know if we have Unit 21 members in your DLC and you're looking for a DBER, because I made that call too, right? To try to recruit some DBERs, let me know.
Okay. And the concern or the thought that I have as being indigenous, with James Ramos, who is the first Native American assembly here in Sacramento, he did put out an assembly bill. I forget what number it is, 1299 maybe, for the true indigenous education throughout all of the state school districts.
Mhm.
To tell the true history. Now, if you don't have CDCR, because we do have indigenous kids in CDCR that are in juvie and stuff. Would this education of the true history go into places like that?
Yes, it would. Every public school
Okay.
is expected to teach from the state standards and the content standards. So history would be in there. And so that would include our juvenile schools that are run by county, by the county offices of education, as well as in CDCR.
Okay, because I know that this is passing from kindergarten all the way to higher education. So I was just wondering if you or anybody within the state has a role or plays a role in any of that.
So as a bill, my colleagues would do a legislative bill analysis, and we would provide that from the CDE's perspective, the California Department of Education. And then once it passes, then we would be charged, or my colleagues would be charged with implementing it and putting it into the content standards.
Okay, I would like I'm in my car. I'm not at home. But I would like to get on your mailing list where I could give you the bill on that so we could watch it. I've been watching it as it's progressed through the assembly and everything. And so I just want to, I just have a big concern there because I have a lot of little ones and a lot of cousins and a lot of babies everywhere who are still in school, even in higher education now. So I would like to see for this bill to get fully implemented throughout the state of California in all areas of First Nations people, because the true history over here in Northern California is different from Central and Southern and everywhere else. So I would like, I would like to give you that bill, so to
Would you
watch.
happen to remember the bill number right now?
No, I'm not at home because I know I pulled it up last night. It's sitting on my computer, but I'm not home yet.
Okay, there are a couple people in the chat that are interested. So
yeah, so maybe I can email you at Unit 21, right?
Yep.
Okay, I will do that and I will give you the bill. And I appreciate all the work you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Eileen.
you're welcome.
I hope I have this right. Hi, Britta, can you unmute and join us?
Hi, how are you?
Okay, how are you?
I'm good. I didn't know what to say. I'm just I'm glad that you're in charge now, and I feel like the chaos is kind of dissipated uh from the union, and I appreciate it, even though a lot of people don't appreciate that. But I feel like we were in a position where we needed to bargain and we didn't have the power because of all the chaos that was going on. So just wanted to let you know that they're appreciated, um, and that in my unit, we have so few people now. We're in a transition where a lot of people are leaving and then some are coming back. And so our union membership is very low. I work at DCA in Sacramento. So I don't know. I don't know what you can do about it. I've heard about the
What's your job classification?
I'm what is it? I'm an office tech typist.
Okay, all right.
Um, but a lot
So,
of the
so
oh,
you're Unit 4.
yeah.
So, you know, membership is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And we're building a program
Mm-hmm.
that will be moving out into the field.
Mm-hmm.
You will start to see some of it in July.
Mm-hmm.
It should be up and running by August pretty effectively.
Mm-hmm.
And where membership is going to be the primary focus at the beginning, and then it will move into the contract.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that people see us doing something different than we've done before.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody can have a part. Everybody can have a role. As you see new hires come into your area,
Mm-hmm.
talk to them about joining the union, make the ask.
Yeah.
Take them to the website, show them where they can sign up. So everybody can do a role in this. Everybody is important. And we can do this. We can absolutely do this. This is a great moment for the local, even with all the turmoil and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
We can do this. We can move forward. We can get a better contract. We
Yeah.
can improve all of our members' lives. We can do that. And that is the work that is being done on the inside of the organization today, along with your bargaining team, when they sit down and talk to the state and they present a absolutely incredibly positive professional image to Cal HR.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody has a role and everybody can get engaged and involved, and we can absolutely improve everybody's lives, Britta.
That's well, you know what? I say that all the time. I tell them, I say, we could be like other states where they don't have the power of bargaining. Their power's been taken away. But so that's main focus. I feel like we have to have more members, or trying to get more members, people who come in to try to convince them about the positive stuff about what the union can do for them. So, but I just wanted to say that was, after all of that, it was so much better to see, the positive and the people taking charge, saying, "Oh, that's enough. It was enough, and it needed to be stopped." So I saw a lot of negative stuff going on, and I said, "Oh no, we can't have this," because I'm thinking about the governor. We're going in negotiation, and I was told. I remember the previous president said that. What kind of affront can we present to the governor? How can we say that we're powerful when we have people who, are fighting among themselves? We have to have a united front. So I'm glad that the things happened the way it happened. And I'm sure you guys I have total confidence in you guys. just want to let you know you guys doing some hard work. Also, I've been asked a lot of times about essential pay. And I said, well, I think they're going for the negotiations about central pay. So I just wanted to ask the question about that, and that's it.
Well, let's let Bobby talk about the essential worker pay. He's been at the table on it.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, so we've met, I want to say once or twice with the state about essential worker pay. And quite honestly, I think it's inaccurate to call what the state presented essential worker pay, because as we all know, we were all essential during the last 2 years, right? They told us we were essential, we had to
Yeah.
work. Many
Yeah.
of us were redirected to do contact tracing,
Yeah.
and we had to come in.
Mhm.
But what they are offering, to be more accurate, is more, they call it, the state called it this, healthcare facility retention payment.
What?
Yeah, that's what they're calling it right now. And it was, in my mind, my words, it's a bait and switch. Not happy with it. So we're still at the table. The bargaining chairs have been in communication with one another about wanting to move on this quickly.
Mhm.
And so it's still up in the air, but we do want to move on it quickly and get the best agreement that we can.
Well, this is what got me. We were told, we're thinking, well, we're not essential. Really, we just, Unit 4, we're essential, but not like life-threatening essential. And they were saying, no, you're essential. So they were telling us this, so we had to go in. We had to go in, and, everybody else was home, we were still going. So I'm thinking the federal government gave that money for essential pay, period. They gave it to the governor to distribute to the people who did that. So to sit up there and try to change what it is not acceptable. And I think I saw it where they offered you, I don't know, the offer was just bad. I'm like, yeah, turn it down. I said, no, we want whatever they told us in that bill or whatever they sent. That's what we want. So I don't understand what the problem is. It's like, why can't you just be right? You were up there dying and talking about how wonderful we are, but they didn't care. So, if something happened again like that, do you really think people are going to come in after that, after being messed over? That's one of the things they should recognize, that you have a lot of pandemics that might happen again. It's not impossible. So I can tell you, I won't do it. I'm like, no, not
Yeah.
after what we went through. Mm-mm.
Yeah, we will definitely amplify your message,
Yeah.
because
Well, thank
it's a
you.
strong one. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Britta. Thanks for coming here tonight. We appreciate you, and we're working for you. And
Thank
come back
you.
and join us again.
Okay, I will.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Hi, Lily. Can you unmute and join us?
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
So I'm a new member and also a new employee with the state of California. And
Welcome, and thank you for being a member. And what do you do?
I'm a legal secretary.
Okay. What department?
I believe it's Boyd's Legal, and it's Unit 4, I believe, in downtown LA.
Unit 4, and you're in downtown LA. What department do you work for?
That would be for Caltrans.
Oh, okay. I work for Caltrans. Welcome. Caltrans is a nice place to work.
Yes, it is. I like it so far.
Do you have a question for Bobby?
You know what? Actually, it's just a general question. So I was wondering if I should ask my question here or maybe email somebody who might be able to help me.
Well, since you're here, why don't you go ahead and ask?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. All right, here it goes. Well, the thing is that I work in downtown LA, and last Friday, when that decision of Roe came out, a lot of protests started happening around my area. And of course, that is normal for downtown LA. It's becoming normal. And it happened to be a day when I'm in the office. So when I heard about what happened, I knew that there was going to be a protest and it probably going to get out of control. So in downtown LA, there's only maybe like 4 exits, 4 freeways that I can take to go home. And of course, they get blocked during a day like this. So I asked one of my coworkers, let the supervisor know about the situation, asked if we can work from home so we can avoid the crowds and whatever was going to happen next. And the supervisor checked with her boss, and the boss said no, because it's not going to get bad and it's not going to affect our building. Well, it turned out that maybe 15 minutes after I left the building, my entrance to the freeway got blocked. So I missed it. So my question is, what can I do in this situation? I do not want to be in this situation again, where I know things are going to get really bad in downtown LA, and I'm not allowed to leave the office to avoid, that dangerous situation on the streets. And I don't want to leave without permission because I don't want to be fired. So I don't know what I can do.
Of course, and since you're a new employee and you're on probation, you do need to be very careful.
Correct.
Lily, let's take this offline. Email me at bhall@seiu1000.org and give me your full name and some contact information for you so that I can get you connected with your DLC leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And you can work on this locally.
Okay. That sounds good.
All right. You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great evening and welcome to the state of California.
Thank you. You too.
Hi, Joanna. Can you unmute and join us? We can't hear you, Joanna. It shows you're unmuted. There you are.
How about now?
How about now? Yes, we can.
Okay, my name is Joanne, and I'm in Unit 1, DLC 722. My questions are on telework. So the union worked with our department to get a telework policy where we will choose to work from home or a hybrid or work from the office. But my question is related to organizing for the union and how that's going to work for I don't talk to a lot of my coworkers, but the ones that I do, I know that most of them will telework. And when we were in the office, organizing was actually really hard in our department. I work for the DFPI, and the membership was really low. And we were one of those departments that actually took the extra step of excluding, I don't remember what the term is, but like actively being a non-member. So organizing was challenging, but we were, I was one among others that were willing to do a little more, and, especially with new employees, and you get my gist. But with a bunch of us now being teleworking, I wonder if in your strategy for organizing, not just for the contract, but just in general, you've taken into account how we can help each other, since a lot of us, at least in some units, will be not in the office at all. So, having a little time to walk to each other's cubicle is not possible. And then using work email or work like instant messenger for union activities, I think, and this would be great if we had some clarification from the union today or some other day of how do we communicate with each other when we're not with each other. And that's about it. So thank you for, thanks to the board for bringing some stability to our union. I just wanted to throw that in there. And thanks so much.
So yes, we've taken it into consideration. It is a new challenge. It is a challenge that a whole lot of people are trying to figure out right now. So you can use state email for what's considered incidental union work. So that, of course, always raises an argument. I recommend people use it on their break and lunchtime, not during normal work. Yeah, not during their normal work hours, so to speak. And I think it's appropriate to use work email to reach out and find ways to contact by other means, and certainly drive every conversation you can drive. And it is in consideration. So thanks for that. Good evening, Tommy. Can you unmute and join us? Oh,
Bill,
did you have
before we
did you
go
have
there,
something
Bill?
to add? Yeah, sure.
I just want to say also,
Hey.
there's a strong emphasis on the new employee orientations and catching people on their first day, right? Like, or shortly after they join the department and things like that as well. That's like statistically the best time to try to reach people. And so making sure that we get tightened up on that law, which was Bill AB 119, so that we are constantly at the new employee orientations, that we're involving people from the departments in the new employee orientations, even though they are virtual as well a lot of the times. That's another big effort to try to make sure that we build our membership up. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for circling back to AB 119, Bobby. So Tommy, are you still there with us? We got some background noise.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Welcome.
I have a couple questions. One of them may not be appropriate for this meeting or this venue. The first one, I have a question. David Jimenez, when will he be a person to, I guess, be your guest or be on the call?
Well,
Is that going to happen?
he's been on here in the past, and he's looking to be on here again.
But do you know how soon he'll be on here or anything?
I don't have an exact date at the moment. I think we have some space towards the end of July.
End of July? Okay, that's pretty far out. Okay, also, and stop me if I'm wrong before I get out. I have a question regarding the attorney fees. So if this is not the right place to ask, tell me no, don't ask right now.
Well, I think, Tommy, that would be a question to have offline.
Okay.
Only because, you know, you are a board member, right?
Yes, sir.
And you were at the board meeting. So I think those discussions could be had offline with other board members, myself. I think that's more appropriate.
Okay, when would be the best time? Because I'm just trying to figure out about this. Like I said, and it's kind of blank. It's a blanket check that you're actually getting because it's not really detailed.
It's not a blank check. There's a limit to it, Tommy. Why don't look? I thought we had a pretty good conversation the other day.
We did. That's why I said if it's not appropriate, let me know. I can call you tomorrow morning.
Yeah, reach out to me. I'm booked all day tomorrow. I have some space on Friday. Reach out to me. We'll talk more, and hopefully we get your questions resolved.
That would be fantastic. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Hi, Metke. Can you unmute and join us?
Oh my gosh. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, I'm so surprised. I made it on. So I'm like, cool.
We're trying to keep it moving.
Right. Okay. So first of all, I'm a member of bargaining unit 20. So I have a few thoughts. First of all, I know there's drama with Mr. Brown. Okay, whatever. But like Yvonne needed to go. So whatever. Okay. But beyond that, my question to you is, there are a lot of prison closures, and that's going to affect a lot of people in this union. And what do you know, and what are your responses to that?
Well, we know that in the budget, there are 3 potential prison closures.
Okay.
There are currently discussions around how can we position ourselves best to help our members and the communities that are
Right.
impacted by a prison closure, right?
Right.
Now, CDCR as an agency is good about holding vacancies available for people who are willing to
Right.
transfer and move. So that's a
Mhm.
positive. That's a
Mhm.
positive,
I
right?
agree. I agree.
But at the same time, if you have a rural community, and I'm just going to pick an arbitrary
Yeah,
number.
but think about Susanville. Think about the small towns where like
Well,
literally yeah.
that's where I was going, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
if you have a rural community and that prison brings in $30 million a year
Right.
into that community, shouldn't there be an obligation to work to replace that lost revenue so that the community stays whole? So now we get into world of politics.
Right.
How do we support bills? How do we get money that's earmarked for employee training?
It's a big question to answer.
No,
Sorry.
but like,
Everyone thought it's a big
you know,
question to answer.
no, because I have actually talked about this with our political people and some others
Okay.
a little bit. So this is not something, as soon as it came out in the budget, we started talking about it.
But it means a lot to the people that work there. I
Well,
work at
also-
CDR, like I didn't want my job to go away.
Well, also, in a case, so let's just talk about you for a minute. Let's be, hypothetical. So
Right.
you work in Susanville, you live in Susanville.
I don't, but sure,
No,
but I
but-
feel for them, right?
Yeah, you have family in Susanville, and you really don't want to leave Susanville. You like the community, right? So how do we take care of those people, and how do we help the community, being local 1,000 and state employees? So
Right.
that's going to be passing bills. That's going to be working with the politicians. How do we repurpose facilities? How do we train people to do jobs that might come in from, how do we develop companies that'll come in and fill the financial void? I mean, we
Right.
can be part of that if that's what we choose to be,
Right.
right? So,
Mhm.
so I think there is a place for that. I mean, we're 97,000 people in local 1,000 across the state of California.
Right.
Let's say just arbitrarily that each of those families is 5 people. We're touching easily 500,000 people directly.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then how many more indirectly? So we have a role and I think a responsibility within our communities.
Right.
So how do we choose to fulfill that role?
Well, that's the question.
And so part of that is, working through the politics. Part of that is having conversations with people like yourself who are actually there saying, this is what we think would work for us, right? Maybe going out and talking to the communities, figuring out how to get CR officials to actually go out and talk to the communities, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to lean towards these are political solutions.
Yeah.
But we can be a part of the political solution and we can work on driving the conversation.
Yeah, it's just gosh, it's more than what the union can do. It's just, I feel like the people don't understand how much it affects people. You know what I mean? I get it. You can only do what you can do, right?
Well, I agree with you, but I think we can do more and better than we've done in the past.
Oh, okay. I like that. I like that.
That's That's how I see it, okay? And
Right?
it's
Okay.
it's kind of a mixed thing. I mean,
Right.
if we're not putting as many people in prison for a long period of time, I kind of see that as a positive.
Right.
Now, the downside is it affects state employees and communities. So
Exactly.
let's figure that out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's hard. It's a hard.
Oh.
There's no
It-
solution. I don't have a solution. You don't have a solution. But
Well,
I
but
just want to make sure the union is on our side as far as we're losing our jobs, and we want to make sure that the union supports us as far as like making sure that we can take an opening somewhere beyond where we need to go, or et cetera, et cetera. Like I just want to make sure that the union is there to support us.
well, I can give you my assurance that as long as I'm in the role I'm in,
Right.
that is my direction, instruction, and conversations with everybody I influence.
Right. Okay.
And don't go away because Bobby's shaking his head. I think he has something to add here. Oh, and
Absolutely.
he smiled. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Fine,
Sorry.
fine.
Bill jokes with me because I have such a very poker face, especially in
Okay,
negotiations.
Okay.
Well,
But
me too. Me too.
For me, it's more, I want the security. I feel like being a part of the union is the security. And I just want to make sure that the security is on our side. And let's say there's an opening. I live in Sacramento and there's an opening in San Diego. If I have the opportunity, can't I take that? Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
if I can respond, like Bill has brought up a lot of great
Right.
upstream solutions and
Right.
potential things, right? Like taking
Right.
action in advance of everything. But in addition, right, the DILS Act provides us as the union
Right.
the ability to meet and confer when these
Right.
things become official. So at that point, right, like we as bargaining unit chairs will review the notices, ask for help reviewing the notices and seeking feedback on the
Right.
impact on our employees. So then we'll be
Mhm.
involved on that level too. Now that's more downstream. When notices come in, like these plans are already kind of half baked. And what we can do then is mitigate the impact. So these
Right.
upstream solutions that Bill presented, and I'm a big fan of more activity. There's an
Right.
upsurge in actions that's taking place across the country. If
Yeah.
y'all catch my drift,
Yep.
there's more of that going on now, and people need to be ready, and we need to have large numbers of workplace leaders ready to move if we want to be successful moving forward and into contract negotiations.
Right. Well, gosh, I'm just like, I'm putting my faith in your hands. You know what I mean? Like, I knock on wood. I hope you guys do what you need to do.
Well,
to protect
we
us.
need to hold hands together. We
Oh,
don't do this
okay.
alone. The
Yeah,
bargaining
no,
team,
no,
the
I'm-
bargaining
I'm-
chairs
okay.
needs everyone, like all of us inclusive.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I hear you.
reach out to us.
Yeah.
I've put my email out enough. If you
Thank you.
need, if you need it again, I will give it to you. You can reach Bobby Roy at Unit 21.
Yeah. And again, it's not just for me. Like, it's for
No.
any SEIUU that's working in a prison. There are going to be closures, and I feel like we need to have the assurance that the union is going to back us and support us and make sure that those with seniority get placement if they need to or want to, or et cetera, et cetera.
And also if, that they have options and opportunities if they don't want to take those other placements.
Yes.
Because that's a choice as well, right?
Correct. Yes.
And so I appreciate the conversation. And part
Thank
of
you.
what I'd like you to understand from our perspective, and Bobby said this in his own words, is that we need you. It's all of us together,
Right.
right? So,
Right.
reach out to us with a concern, reach out to us with an idea. Engage yourself with your local leadership. Help us find our non-members, help us recruit them, help us build the numbers and the power that we need so that
Mhm.
we can be successful.
Right. Well, thank you so much for taking the call and just understanding what some of us are going through. So I really appreciate that.
And
Thank
I'm glad you got recognized tonight.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I have a person here who I will never pronounce her name correctly. Rosa Danelia, maybe? Can you unmute and join us and correct me?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can.
Hello, good afternoon. You did right. You did right. My name is Rosa Danelia, and you're not alone. 9 out of 10 don't know how to pronounce my name. I don't know if it's good or bad.
I took the best shot I could.
You did right. Thank you. Just as some other members, this is my first time participating in one of these meetings, right? But I've been an state employee for 15 years now. I work for Department of Motor Vehicles, the second most hated place. And I do have some concerns because we have addressed this here to our bargaining unit presidents. And still today, a year and 3 months and a few days counting and no answer. And just a question.
So let's get a little information from you. So what do you do at DMV?
I'm a field representative.
Okay, so bargaining unit 4?
Yes.
All right, and just generically, what area, where do you work roughly?
Southern California.
Okay.
Also LA, yeah, LA County. One of the
Okay.
toughest counties.
All right.
Yeah, my office is considered one of the largest, if not the largest, of DMV. And as you know, we are a collecting agency. We collect money for the state of California.
Yes, you
And
do.
from Dana, yes, and from not only for the state of California, I mean, CHP, the Board of Equalization, Franchise Tax Board, you name it, we collect for all of them. And still today is something that we don't understand. Why we so underappreciated and yes, underpaid. Okay, so I'm not up to date as to why, President Brown was, removed from the chair. But taking the opportunity that I'm speaking to you right now, and I like to voice my concerns, and hopefully, keep that in mind for the bargaining unit. Okay, I know that you do fight for in general for all the members, but Department of Motor Vehicles and don't appreciate it. I don't know if it's because it's an entry level to the state, employment system, probably. But can you tell us more or less what plans do you have, if you do have any, or perhaps you see this as an opportunity to plan something and to bring it to the bargaining table as to how they're planning to compensate, underappreciated employees like us and Department of Motor Vehicles specifically, because like I said, my statement is true. We underappreciate it. And we do a lot of things, like incredibly things that people don't have any idea, what it's like to work for, DMV. Okay, so that's mostly, on top of, that's my main question and concern as well. But I do have other questions as well.
Okay,
But,
so I'm gonna, I think Bobby wants to respond a little bit. I'm going to say a couple of things. So again, reach out directly to your Unit 4 bargaining chair, Karen Jeffries, directly. And if you want, CC me. And it's not like the union doesn't want to help you be successful in your life. I mean, there was a time where a person working at the counter at DMV earned a head of household income. It's been a political choice to leave us behind. You, me, Bobby. It's been a political choice to leave all state employees behind. And other bargaining units that we don't even represent, Local 1000 doesn't represent, have been left behind also. We do have plans. We are doing it differently. With that said, you're right. You do not make enough money to survive, never mind thrive, okay? And I'm aware of that. With that, let me let Bobby answer that, and then we'll address some of your other concerns.
Sure, yeah. Thank you for your question and your concern. We're absolutely still in the information gathering stage. And so for each of our bargaining units, right, we do have unit-specific contract language that we can negotiate, but also the master table language that we can negotiate. So me hearing your concerns is valuable. Like definitely your unit 4 chair hearing your concerns will also be valuable. And we're going to try to approach this like I'm a firm believer in multi-pronged strategies, right? Like that's why I believe in upstream strategies, downstream strategies, and really coming up with unique solutions to the issues at hand. And so we don't have a plan yet because we're still gathering information. And so, thank you for your question. Thank you. I'm making note of it, and so that we can bring it to the table as we continue to formulate those plans.
Very well, thank you. And then, well, you mentioned that I need to get in touch with my union rep. What was that again? I'm sorry.
That was your bargaining unit chair, Karen
The
Jeffries.
bargaining unit. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Would you mind forwarding that information to me? Because we may have the wrong info. And like I said before, we've been trying to get in touch with this person here for quite a little while. And it just, I don't know, it's still today and no response. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, but I do have some wild thoughts as well as to why he's not replying.
Yeah, Karen, let me look up Karen's email address. It's on the union website as well. But let me look that up and then I'll paste it into the chat.
Thank you. That is mostly I'm concerned. The next thing will be pretty much, once again, I'm not only speaking for myself, but also, not only my office as well, but we do communicate with other offices within our bargaining unit. And it has to do with the same subject pretty much. But yes, we're concerned, about see if you're going to be discussing, the essential work pay, because just like you did, we also were open and we have not closed down. And a lot of us have gotten sick and, with all this issue with the gas going up and the cost of living, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. And so that is, we want you to, I know that you guys are aware of it, but can you please put that on the table as well, because we will all benefit. And when Miss Yolanda was muting, I felt very upset, because I kind of like sort of understood, but at the same time, I understood your point as well. Okay, so I just wanted to mind also, that concern, because I believe she did have a point and something that we had discussed within our bargain with our unit. Okay, and Ted Burnett and other, representatives on a unit is that we feel we are being misrepresented. Therefore, there is some sort of vendetta going, around Department of Motor Vehicles as to where, being that we're very much disappointed at the way that the union is handling our interest and letting us believe we are not important enough to you. So therefore, a lot of people are intentionally, willingly to try to call your attention, you know, leaving the membership. Okay, so there is a reason as to why, and you want us to, promote membership, but if we do not see, we don't feel you are helping us, I strongly doubt you'll get that response. Okay, I know it sounds rough and it's not my intention, okay, but it is the truth. So keep that also in mind, okay? In order to receive, you must be able to give as well and show good faith.
Well, I think that that's true, but there's also a point of personal responsibility in here. And your union is your only vehicle. And if you don't exercise your right to participate in your union, what life has taught me is when I don't exercise my right and I don't protect my right, I will lose that right. If I don't take care of my family, I will lose my family. If I don't take care of my vehicle, I won't have my vehicle. If I don't fix the leaky roof in my house will rot around me and I won't have my house. So while I understand and appreciate people's disappointment with the organization in the past, by not getting on board and not exercising their right to be part of their union, they hurt themselves, they hurt the rest of us. And when they finally decide that, yeah, I actually do need a union, we might not exist at that point. And that would be a very serious loss for state employees. Everybody that we represent is essential, every single one of us. So, we'll reach out to you. We'll put some information in the chat. You're in LA. I believe you would be in Steve Alari's DLC. I would certainly encourage you to reach out to your local leadership and your local DBER as well. And I would encourage you to continue to engage and have the conversations, and also to watch what we're doing, because I think you're going to see something different. So I do appreciate that. And I do respect what you have to say. Hi, Erica. Can you unmute and join us?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So I am part of bargaining unit 1. I work for CDCR. And I kind of, just to piggyback on the previous speaker, same thing coming for me. I know with bargaining coming up for raises here, I just want to express that you guys as our union, I'm hoping you guys are going to fight for us, because of course everybody's facing the extremely high inflation. Everything's gone up, including that there is, I'm facing issues with childcare due to understaffing. So I'm having to travel further for daycare. So with rising gas prices, staff shortages, increasing costs everywhere, I'm hoping, 2% is nothing. It's not going to do anything for anybody. And that's the standard for the state and the bargaining units. That can't be what you guys are bargaining for us when the current inflation rate is like over 8%. So I just want to express that, we need you guys to fight for us. My homeowner's insurance has doubled. I'm sure most people's have due to all the fires in California. We're all paying for it. Car insurance has gone up 20%. Gas has tripled in the last 2 years. It needs to be addressed. And I'm hoping you guys as a union, the reason I'm part of a union and I'm speaking up is because I need you and we need you to fight for us.
Heard and agreed. And, you know, I work at Caltrans. I'm right there with you. I feel your pain as well. And you do need us to fight for you, and we need you to participate and take the walk with us so that we can be successful.
Yeah.
And
I-
that's,
I'll-
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to add, right? Like, and I said it earlier, we need large numbers of workplace leaders ready to move. This can't be driven by just us that were elected to the bargaining team. And we need a lot of politically conscious working class leaders who have experience in militancy and a view that we have to fight for one another, not just us that are elected fighting for, you know, the folks that are not elected, but all of us fighting for one another.
I think that needs to be expressed more by the union, because in my view, the whole point of being a part of the union is we have members to fight for, or team members to fight for us. And that's what you guys should be fighting for, what we want. I shouldn't have to be militant to do that. That's why I pay a membership fee.
Well, you know what? We're not a fee for service. No union is. We will never be successful if it's a fee for service perspective. Unions over history have only been successful when they've been militant, and it takes the whole membership. And if you look at history and you read the history, that story is told over and over and over again. So my perspective is fee for service will not help us get a better contract for you in 2023.
Okay, well, I'm speaking up now to give my point of view, and I hope others can speak up and express the same to help push forward so that our opinions get pushed by you guys as union leaders.
Well, I think you're hearing two different things. I mean, Bobby acknowledged you. I acknowledged you. Your opinions are heard. What we're offering is a solution. You know, we're saying, yeah, we agree with you. And Bobby, you can shake your head now. But at the same time, what we're saying is we have to do this differently than we've ever done it before, if we're going to be more successful than we've ever been before. So I would like to see us be more successful. And what we're saying is we're willing to do this differently, and we're willing to do what you're asking, and we need you to take the walk with us.
What do you mean by taking a walk with you guys? Because I'm a mom of 2 kids. I don't have time to waste, and my plate is already full. So that's why I'm asking you guys to fight for us.
I appreciate that. And you're probably not going to like me for this one. If you want your life better, we are fighting for you, and we will continue to fight for you. If Bobby's been at the bargaining table several times recently, fighting for everybody. He always gives his earnest input and support and brings value to the conversation. I would argue that as busy as you are, and as a mom of 2 children, I would argue that you can't afford not to be involved, that you can't afford not to give something. And we're not asking everybody to give everything, but I mean, Purple Wednesdays, purpling up in the work site, talking to your coworkers, making sure they're members. There's all kinds of ways people can join in, participate, and help move things forward. Putting up a purple banner, calling your department head if you're asked to. There's many, many ways you can join in to help us be stronger. And that's the strength that we need to win. The state does not honestly, the state doesn't care at all about anything that we say at the bargaining table. We have great people, we have the attorneys, we have great arguments, we have data to back us up. And quite frankly, they're like, yeah, so what? We're only gonna give you this. So how do we change that dynamics? Exactly what I've said, exactly what Bobby has said. You know, we need many, many prominent leaders who are ready to be active and agitate in the work site to stand up and do it differently than we've ever done it in the past. And
I think you need to rethink that because there are quite a few of us who telework from home. We don't have a workplace to show all these banners, and we are isolated into our homes because my department is now 100% telework. So there's not a lot of ways that you're suggesting to essentially throw a fit in the workplace to show the rest of my coworkers that they need to get on board. That's not going to work anymore. That's not going to work.
We will find ways to do that. And that's part of what we have to overcome. We have to do this different than we've ever done it before.
Well, you guys got to get on it quickly because that bargaining is coming real fast around the corner, and 2% did nothing. It all went to taxes, and you know, a lot of us are struggling, and we're working our butts off and trying to do everything we can to promote and get additional raises. And, you know, unfortunately, there's institutions closing. There's other people who honestly need some of these jobs more than others. And, you know, I just want to voice that, like, as my union representative, I am really hoping you guys are going to push and not just roll over and take whatever's given.
Okay, I hear you. Bobby, do you have anything to add?
No, I like I said, we're willing to fight for you. I ask that you also fight along with us so that we can get the job done.
So thanks, Erica. You've been heard. Continue to watch what we do. We're working on doing it different. Faraz, can you unmute and join us?
Yes, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, thank you. My name is Faraz. Good evening, Chair Bobby, and I'm sorry, Chair, and hello there, Bobby. My name is Faraz, and I'm part of Bargaining Unit 4. Sorry, this is my first time actually talking, but I have been listening on and off to the Straight Talk meetings, and I'm not sure if this topic was already discussed, but I really want to hear from the union about this. I've been hearing news regarding about a 4-day work week with same pay as a 5-day work week, while still maintaining like an 8-hour work day. So I just want to know what were SEIU's thoughts about the 4-day work week, if the union was strongly considering the idea with its bargaining team, and what are your thoughts of businesses, countries like Iceland and UK, and even here at the California legislature with AB 2932 regarding the topic of the 4-day work week?
I did not know about AB 2932.
Oh, yes.
Look, I mean, I could get behind a 4-day, 32-hour full pay work week.
Yes,
I mean, actually, I could go the other way. I could go to a 3-day work week with full pay and a 4-day weekend. So I could get completely behind that. I do know that Iceland and Europe are looking at this, and it's much more progressive. And they're looking at it from different views and a piece of productivity, a piece of what's referred to as job sharing, where there's only so many jobs and there's more people, ways to have everybody have a livable income. Let me kick it over to Bobby for a minute and see if he has anything to add on this?
Yeah, my old division director actually came from the state of Utah, where they experimented with a 4-day work week. I don't recall if they have continued it, but I know that they tried it out. So personally, I would love it. Until I don't know if the union politically took a position on it, but I would imagine that we did. Lots of studies have shown that work-life balance in the US is, horrible compared to other countries, like the countries that you mentioned. So, I would be in support of it. But unfortunately, I don't know if the union, SAIU 1000 or SAIU California took a stance on it. I'd have to look that up.
I guess that was the whole question. So thank you, Faraz, and come back and visit us and ask us some more, and we will continue to look at that going forward, I'm sure. Hi, Antoinette. Can you unmute and join us?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Oh gee, it's so embarrassing to talk. I like just want to kind of piggyback, but I'll be quick because I know it's 8 o'clock. I see Mr. Bobby is in. I don't know if he knows lab assistants. I am a lab assistant. I'm in R11. We are invisible. When other departments, LVNs, office techs were getting little individual raises, I have been there since before time. And all we have gotten is like a uniform raise. We take every fluid that the body has. We're in close proximity to the inmates. They can just reach up and if they wanted to, just choke us out, slap our face, kiss our cheek. We're that close. The prison sends us in places where we shouldn't be drawing, where there's no privacy. We violate HIPAA violations. We're in places where we could trip and fall and hurt ourselves. We have been invisible. I just want to know if you all, and we draw blood on people, not fish, because we're in 11. That's how I feel. We should be in 20. I just want you to know if you could just jot us down, lab assistants, and mention us at the table, because everybody on that table from the States, somebody takes medication. I take medication every day. I get my blood drawn every 3 months. Where would we all be without the lab assistants?
Antoinette, you're right, and we're all essential, and part of the problem is the state doesn't think you're important. So, again, join us. Let's join hands together. Let's make sure the state knows that we're all essential and we're all of value. And we feel and we believe that we've been unappreciated. I mean, that's the fact, right?
Yes, sir. I am one to encourage people, the lab assistants, to stay in the union. I've had 2 to just get out of the union recently, just because we have been invisible. And I just told them, maybe something new is coming. We just have to hold on.
Well, getting out of the union is no different than not voting in politics.
I agree.
You simply become the uncounted. And while we do care about the people we represent, unlike the politicians who just see you as the uncounted and don't care about you, we actually do care. But we can't win without everybody's help. And the message is, we need every single person we represent to join hands with us and do the work of getting fair treatment from the state, demanding and receiving fair treatment from the state. It's been too long.
Yes, sir. Before I go, I want to say I wear my purple on Wednesdays. On my board, I have the union, every statement the union has made. I am a union person, and I'm trying to help the best way I can, and I will continue to do that. And I encourage you all to do it. And I enjoy the 2 meetings that I have been in. Keep up the good work.
Well,
Thank
thanks,
you,
and
Lieutenant.
come back and join us again. Key, is it just you tonight? Can we stay for a few more minutes? All right, everybody, I had to check and see, we're at 8:07. I had to check with my IT guy here, see if we can stay a few more minutes. Hi, Ken, can you, oh, wait a minute, I'm wrong.
Andrew.
I missed Andrew. Andrew, can you unmute and join us? Are you with us, Andrew? Oh, Andrew's not with us at the moment. Well,
Yes, I can hear you now.
There-
Sorry, I wasn't
there
able
you
to
are.
unmute.
there you are. Welcome.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we
can
are.
hear you.
But what's your question?
Well, good evening, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Roy. Good to see you, Bobby. Once again, it was great working with you on negotiations. I look forward to working with you again this year on bringing us, the few, the proud, the transportation consultants up to par with our fellow consultants. My question tonight has to do with the arduous pay provisions in the contract. And we've been encouraged by our union to file that because we have a very unique type of job classification for the work we do. And with the Unit 21 portion being not grievable, when we got the response back from management that they didn't have the budget to pay that, the response we got back from the union was that it's not grievable in the contract. There's really nothing we can do. And I don't want to solve our individual situation tonight. Really, I want to just ask the question of what was the reasoning behind that portion of the contract being not grievable, and is that something we could look at in the future, change it?
Yeah, I absolutely think we can look at it. I was afraid that they were going to deny it, either the department or CalHR, and that we wouldn't have to need to do that, but clearly we do. And so I have assigned a committee within Unit 21 to look at that arduous pay language. I'll be sure that they reach out to you and your colleagues. And there's actually a couple other Unit 21 classifications that are dealing with arduous pay challenges right now. And we're going to build up a case, and we'll definitely work with you and have you back at the negotiation table to so that the state can hear us loud and clear that this is not acceptable. We believe that when people work, they should get paid for that and be compensated for that work. And by not allowing that to be grievable, they've effectively taken that away. So I apologize for that.
Hi, Ken. Can you unmute and join us?
Hi, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, great. Good evening, everyone, and Chairman Hall and Bobby Dalton and everybody else joining the call. Thank you. It was interesting listening to everyone talk, and the conversations have been very intriguing. This is my first meeting, obviously. I haven't really joined many of these, but I'm just kind of starting to get involved in the union. And I wanted to first ask my question to you, Chairman Hall. Have you received my letter I sent to you on June 23rd? I sent it to generally the union main headquarters office, but I did email you directly. I wanted to see if you got that email with my letter. It's about 109 pages, but the letter itself is really just 4 pages.
I am not sure I have that.
That's okay.
If it's that long, I'm not sure I have that.
Okay.
If you now to my understanding before I came here tonight. I managed to clean up my email. So if you send it to me again, it'll be at the top of the pile. And
Okay.
I will certainly look at it. Do you want to just like to give us a general gist of it?
I could give a general explanation of what I'm writing about, and I will definitely email it to you after this phone conversation. My main concerns are the pandemic in general. I really do think that the state, regardless of the attitudes of every particular American and how they feel about COVID-19 and where it's going, I really do think that there is a potential for it to be very hazardous. And right now we're heading towards what the former New York health advisor had said this is going to be the worst wave thus yet, Omicron 5. And regardless of how that may turn out to be, I really do think the state can step it up and do a lot more in preventative work, especially for state employees. It is very nerve-wracking being in an office space. I commute every day. I'm a legal secretary, and I go into the San Francisco office. I commute back and forth by car. I maintain social distance. I keep wearing masks in the office and whatnot. But the waning of the COVID protections is very startling, especially if we're concerned about a budget, if we're concerned about an economy, and we have, what's 30% of 100% of Americans coming down with long COVID. I mean, we're talking about systemic hospitalization to chronic, long-term disease. And these concerns that we're flouting in the face of business to protect business is outrageous. And I don't believe I'm alone in that construct, especially kind of a union mindset. I think that we need to work together to really address this crisis and try and end it as best we can and in any position possible. And I think that we are delivering a serious blow to the state of California, to Americans, by not allowing for us to take on the preventative measures necessary. And so I list out in my letter the numerous instances of COVID exposures that have taken place over the last 2 months. Some of the startling procedures that the building management has allowed for, the politicians in San Francisco have allowed for, that are quite disturbing. I mean, setting up events in our office space without letting employees know or have a say or an input, that, and then we have to come and find out that there's 20 to 50 people in our building having a party during a pandemic.
Okay, so
It's quite startling. So
yeah.
I outlined some of the in the letter.
I get the gist of this, Ken. And it's already 8:15. I have a couple more people I'd like to get to, so I don't want you to feel cut off, even though I'm going to sort of push this on. We agree. We've had problems in Oakland. Oakland got together and organized and delivered over 400 health and safety grievances. And what's important about 400 is it's individual. A health and safety grievance has to be answered by the state within 14 days. So we made a whole lot of hours and effort of work, and that changed the department's approach in Oakland to the membership. So there are things we can do. And I believe I did receive and read your email. And I believe I passed it along to the contracts department so that they would have the information that you provided. I did not respond to you predominantly because it's been a super busy 2 weeks.
I can understand.
So I do try to respond to everybody who reaches out to me. Occasionally, I don't get to everybody. I don't mean to intentionally leave people out, but after this conversation that you've had so far, I do remember your email. I did read at least your first 4 full pages. I perused some of your examples and I moved it on to contracts because, when you had very thorough information and examples, and I thought that they could benefit from that.
Thank you. And I am advocating for office essential worker pay. I also wanted to ask you a question as to what happened to the petition with essential worker pay initially that President Brown had circulated. I never got word of exactly why he didn't have budgetary discussions. I'm kind of curious to hear more about that. I'm also curious to hear more about all the other positions that I'm hearing for essential worker pay that were kind of neglected in the last budgetary proposal by the governor's office, or CalHR rather.
Well, the state is the state. The state has a practice of what's referred to as the 4 Ds when it comes to managing its employee base. Delay, distract, demoralize, and defer, right? So, and divide, right? Divide, if I give you essential worker pay, but I don't give it to Bobby, now who's Bobby angry with? Bobby's angry with you and the union. He's not angry with the governor. That's the way it's been working. We've got to change that dynamic. Understand that, this is the state's offer, the state's proposal. And I think, our position is the hell with that. We're all essential. Let me move on and get a couple more people before we close out for the night.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ken. Hi, Rima. Can you unmute and join us?
Hi, good evening. I think I had my question answered. I don't want to take time because it is more personal. I just really needed some quick help, and since I'm so new, I just really am not sure if I'm going to get it in time, and that's what I was asking about.
Okay, Rima. Well, you know what? Reach out to me if you want. I'm very busy tomorrow. But if you get me an email tonight, I might see it first thing in the morning. bhall@seiu1000.org. And if you haven't gotten help so far, I'll see if I can get you directed in the right place.
Okay. Yes, someone was supposed to contact me, so I was wondering, are you all short on people, or because I should have been contacted by this afternoon. I have a deadline that's on Friday, and after that I won't have a chance to take action. So I need to take action, and I need someone to help me.
Okay, so
and I called on Monday, so I've been waiting.
Email me and I will take action to get you as much help as I can, okay?
Great, thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Hi, Christina. Can you unmute and join us?
Good evening.
Hi.
A couple of things. The AB 2932 was referred back to the Labor and Employment Committee on March 28th, and it hasn't come back out yet. Because we've been watching that one.
Thank you.
For the 32-hour work week. And hey, sorry, he's been quiet this whole time. I get on the mic and he starts. For the ones that are teleworking and the ones that are saying that they're really busy, there are ways you can get involved, and your kids can get involved as well. My kids have been involved. They're both adults and working for union now, union jobs, both of them. But what I was going to say is teleworking. Put your background as an SEIU on your signature line, at the bottom of your signature line. Put SEIU Local 1000 member or the little SEIU emblem. The more people that do this, the more you're going to see it as it's going around in your emails and the state and stuff is going to start paying attention that we are building up steam. We don't have to be on the sidewalks when we're teleworking. And if we do have in-person meetings, bring the kids with you. The kids can come, my sons used to pass out water, used to hand out flyers to people. When we did phone banking, they would stand by the door and hand flyers to people. Get the family involved. The kids like it. They get to talk to other people. You get a chance to be involved. The union's going to take all of us. It's you and I on top of the issues. A lot of people don't understand, and I keep repeating myself, even to the new employees and some of our long-term ones. We do this for free. I'm not getting paid to do this. The majority of people are not getting paid to do this. So, every little bit helps. Put your name, like I said, put your background as a union background like mine is, and do your signature line. Every little bit counts as getting us notice and getting the state to pay attention to us. And that's it.
Hey, thanks, Christine. We appreciate your input tonight. Let's go over here to Norma real quick, and I got one more, and we're going to call it a night. Hi, Norma.
Awesome, thank you. Hello, thank you. This is my first time calling in to the union. I'm new to this union, and my concern is that obviously pay is very important to me. And I live in San Diego. I work in San Diego. I work at CDCR, and it's a whole new environment for me. And I'm always based on my pay, borderline being homeless. I used to be homeless, and it's a little bit embarrassing for me to say that I work for the state, but I'm also homeless. And so obviously there's with inflation and gas prices, that's very, very critical and crucial for me. I live really close to the border, and it's also a sad place for me to be in, that I'm an American citizen, and my option is to move over the border in order for me to survive, to be able to live while working for the government. So number one concern obviously is my pay. Second concern is where I work. I work at CDCR. The union is non-existent. There needs to be more shop stewards, and knowledge about the union is very, very low, to the point where I'm the one that's being asked for the union's number. So it's not even advertised or posted anywhere. And I'm actually dealing with a hostile work environment. I'm already suffering from retaliation, even from stopping me from getting another job somewhere else. When they called to get references, they were giving a negative reference from that place. And it's not me, it's obviously them. I filed an EEO report, and they did the investigation themselves, and they gave it back to me that nothing happened. I have PTSD. I have a workers' comp claim for PTSD. I have a diagnosis of PTSD related to workplace violence, and I suffered workplace violence at that location. And I was given my report, my EEO report, that it was not substantiated when there was no investigation done. So I'm suffering from retaliation, hostile work environment. I just want to make those 2 points. And what can I do to protect myself in regards to those 2 things? And what is the union doing to alleviate me from having to be homeless again? Thank you. And thank you for everything that you do.
And so Norma, you're not alone. We have homeless state employees who have worked for the state for a while in Oakland and San Francisco. I want to be very respectful. So reach out to me at bhall@seiu1000.org, and I'm going to make an ask of you, but it's going to be a personal ask between us. And with that said, I'll look into a little more information on what we're doing as a local down in San Diego. We should have staff to help you. You know, Bobby's shaking his head. Bobby, you have something to add in here?
I want to say thank you for sharing and being vulnerable. I can relate to when I started my state career, I was on the verge of not having a roof over my head. And it was a tough time, but it was because of the union that I did get the help that I wanted, and I was able to get out of it. And I promise that we'll work with you, Norma, and anyone else that's out there that needs the help. We're here to fight with you, and like make sure that we get solutions to these problems.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Norma. Please reach out to me.
Well,
Hi, Ajamo, you're our last caller for the night. So let's see if we can keep it short and go home, okay?
Okay,
I'm getting hard looks from my IT guy.
okay, I guess brevity is warranted at this point. Let me first give shouts out to Norma because I thought that was courageous for her to express what was taking place in her life. And it's no way should California, the 5th largest economy in the world, with a government such as California's, with any state employee, should be homeless or on the verge of homeless when there's a surplus of revenue in this state. Now, with that said, Bobby made an interesting point, and the sister raised this earlier as well, too. Labor laws in this country are not as advanced as it is in those more advanced European countries where their standards, higher, the living standards are quite high. Down in Ontario office, we have had meetings, this particularly some 5 years ago, around I Choose, and we would talk about how labor, the quality of life for working people, and how we must make laws fit a changing lifestyle for a 21st century living. And part of what we had discussed, this was over 5 years ago, is the idea of reducing the work week. Now, technically, what most of our members don't understand, 8-hour day workday is not even 100 years old. Prior to 1935, people work up to 11, 12 hours a day. The 8-hour workday is a relatively new concept, a new way of working, and that came in with the New Deal. So we're only looking at less than 100 years. Now, at this point, it is time for working people in this country to move toward the 4-hour, 32-hour workday, because most European countries, they work 32 hours a day and make wages enough for them to have a decent standard of living. SEIU sits at a critical point at this point, given where we're located in the 5th largest economy in the world, that we can be the leader, and I know that we will be because we have discussed this as well, too. Another aspect, what Bobby had mentioned as well, too, about the backward nature of our labor laws. Even now, the Taft-Hartley Act has enshrined right to work. We're the only country to have a law like that that makes it difficult, almost putting unions out of existence. We must change labor laws, and one way we can do this is through making sure that 32-hour workday come into being. Another thing, why this is so important for SEIU, over 6% of our members are women. Most women have 2 jobs. They come to work 8 hours outside their home, and they come home to work inside the home. So this type of bill that would reduce the work hours, work hour day, would be an extremely benefit for our fellow and our female members in our union, because they have the largest burden in working 2 jobs normally. So it's important that we do this, and I know we will because we have had that conversation. Thirdly, real quick, working people has not gained anything productive without struggle. Labor unions have always had to take a militant stance to improve work conditions. 8 hours a day, Social Security, that all came through struggle. Now, while a lot of our female members who I really appreciate are mothers, and some of them can't do the type of work, but whatever they can do to contribute to the improvement of living standards for all of us would be most appreciative, and I do respect that. But yes, I am following that bill. We have to stay behind it because that bill is really a women's liberation bill, because it reduced the burden on women, not only in this country, but on in the women that participate as a part of our union, SEL Local 1000. Thank you, Bill.
Adamo, I appreciate your comments and your insight. And yes, we need to support all the working women and non-working women as well. Women do seem to be under attack in our country right now. So with that, I appreciate.
Bill, can I make one last statement?
I appreciate everybody tonight, and I will let Bobby close.
Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for having me. The last thing that I want to say is that we've all heard the statement that a rising tide lifts all boats. But what I want everyone to realize is that we are not the boats. We are the tide. We are part of the tide. And all the movement that's happening around us, like you have Starbucks workers in right to work states unionizing against all odds, and they're voting to start unions. And all of that, we are all part of the tide, and we have to do that. So no matter what tactic we use in our negotiations and what we do, the power comes from our solidarity. If we had 100,000 people wearing purple every Wednesday or putting the signs up on our Zoom windows every Wednesday, management and the state will take notice. That solidarity, all of us acting in unison and together, is really where our power comes from. So please, if you're not a member, become a member. If you know someone that's not a member, recruit them to become a member. And let's get moving, because what we need is a lot of leaders at all of our work sites ready to take action in order for us to get the amazing contract that we all deserve. Thank you.
So thank you, Bobby. I couldn't have closed any better. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. Have a great night. Purple up next Wednesday, and look for us in the work site. Have a great evening.